against the Raiders. That's the nightcap. Bucs-Lions start the party at 1 Eastern on NFL Network, followed by Niners-Cardinals on Amazon Prime Video, and Dolphins-Raiders right back here on NFL Network. Coverage starts at 11 a.m. Our Steve Weich will be on the show and caught up with Dolphins rookie quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
So you've already established a winning record going into Saturday's game.
Tua in that quick release put it right on the money.
And listening to Coach Brian Flores, it's still a lot of unfinished business.
Well, I think the standard for our team, we want to achieve something really high. We want to win out.
What a throw by Tua Tagovailoa.
We got some high goals that we set for ourselves as a team. I think we're trying our best to try to reach that.
That full interview coming your way tomorrow, but now the playoff picture presented by Expedia. Tua and those Dolphins currently hanging on to that 7th and final spot in the AFC. They have the same record as the Ravens at 9-5, but hold the tiebreaker with a better conference record. If the Dolphins win out, they're in. But if they lose, they're in some trouble here. Their playoff chances drop to just 8% if they lose tomorrow. At that point, they need help over the final 2 weeks to get into the tournament. Irv, the Dolphins, they've been a lot of fun to watch this year. Will we see them do their thing in the playoffs?
Man, as you just said, Colleen, they look like right now they would have to win out, and that means, of course, win today, win against the Raiders, which I certainly think they will do. But coming up and playing that team, playing the Bills in Week 17, that's another story because the Bills are trying to keep that number 2 seed so they don't have to see the Chiefs again until the AFC Championship game. Great job by Brian Flores going from the last ranked scoring defense last year to the first ranked scoring defense this year. Hopefully, it'll build enough speed to get the Dolphins into the playoffs.
I really love watching the Dolphins. When you look at Brian Flores, when he inherited this team, you did not expect this transition to possibly talking about a playoff berth for the Miami Dolphins this quickly. He's done a great job. We have obviously, us the media have questioned everything he's done, but this defense is top 5, top 10 in pressuring, get hits on the quarterback, understanding how to play winning football. When we talk about the Miami Dolphins, we have not been able to use the word playoff and Miami in the same sentence for an extremely long time. And Brian Flores has done that. And then Tua has done an exceptional job as a young man. Yes, he's had his ups and downs. However, he is a guy that we all are watching improve each and every week. But we also are saying, how are they doing this? Because they don't have star-studded guys on the offense. However, they have a lot of young guys, and soon to be stars and Pro Bowlers in this league to years to come.
Yeah, Steve, and I absolutely love what Coach Flores did in his handling of Tua. We always see coaches, and we talk about coaches, and we talk about the X's and O's, how well they can design plays or design defenses. But the most important part, I think, of all of it is how you manage people. And this is what Brian Flores has done a great job of. Bringing Tua in, he says, hey, we got a great defense, and we're better than we thought we were going to be. Let's get the kid in right now. And then manage him. When he's not playing well, it's okay to sit him down. I love the way Tua comes over and sit and talk with Ryan Fitzpatrick after every series. It tells you that it's an atmosphere of learning the football game and learning how to win. He's doing an incredible job. Really an incredible job. It's very impressive.
And Tua became the first rookie quarterback to beat the Patriots since 2013. I'm really interested to see how Week 17 plays out with the Bills. Will they be resting starters? How does that work out for the Dolphins? We'll have to wait and see the Dolphins tomorrow, and obviously that in Week 17. But we have this game coming up next. Drew Brees. Was all the rust knocked off last week? We'll see.
Presented by Expedia.
Alvin Kamara trying to help the Saints break a 2-game losing streak. Hey, maybe the red and green cleats will help. Who knows? So many questions. We'll have answers coming your way. And Dalvin Cook here for some Friday football, too, ready to put on a show against the Saints. Total Grinch move to spoil their plans of winning the division today at the Superdome. It's all coming your way here on NFL Network. What a show we have for you today. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Come gather round for the special day of football. I'm Colleen Wolfe, happy to be celebrating today with you the penultimate week of the regular season. With 2 games left, the Saints lead the NFC South with a spot in the playoffs already locked in. If they beat the Vikings today, they'll clinch their 4th straight division title. But their 2 straight losses coming into today put them behind the 11-3 Packers as the 2 seed. It's still possible to snag that top spot in the NFC, but they'll need some help starting with a win today. Jane Slater's in New Orleans, where Drew Brees made his return last week after being out with injured ribs, 11 of them, and a collapsed lung. Jane, how close is Brees to being 100%?
Oh, that injury's no big deal, Colleen, right? It only took him 4 games. But he said even when he was playing, when they were getting ready to play the Philadelphia Eagles, he went out there, warmed up, had that pregame adrenaline, and said he was ready to go then, but he needed to hit some benchmarks. Well, as you guys talked about earlier, he told Sean Payton, I'm ready to go. Off to a slow start against the Chiefs last week. He says he feels physically fine, but admitted he was still sort of getting into a rhythm. When I talked to his running back, Alvin Kamara, he wasn't concerned at all. He says that's the general. That's his nickname for him. And he says that's his nickname for him because he controls the offense when he's out there. With 20 years of experience, he's a guy that has seen every single defense. Now, he is going to have at least one other weapon at his disposal, Taysom Hill. They had a large menu for him planned last week. They had to pull some of that off of his plate because of Jameis Winston ending up on COVID IR list. All of them are good to go, so we might see more of Taysom Hill this week.
That is good news right there for Drew Brees. Jane, thank you. I mean, I would have been shocked if Drew Brees came out and played like a machine after that injury. Michael Thomas, though, his wide receiver, was placed on IR last week with a lingering ankle injury, so he's going to miss the Saints' final 2 games of the season, but he is eligible to return for the playoffs if his ankle is right by then. He's only played 7 games this season. He's been out of the lineup more than he's been in it this year. Only 3 starts with Brees this year. So what should the Saints expect from Michael Thomas come January?
You know, Colleen, when I see this, because I'm such a worker, Steve, I know you are such a worker. Like, I want my reps coming up to a game, right? And I remember a couple of years ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown was hurt. I think it was 2017. He was hurt. He got hurt, missed 3 weeks. He came back that playoff game and went off. I mean, went off. I remember seeing him later that year, and I got on my knees and said, oh, my God, I've never seen anybody play like that coming back off of an injury without having practice. Michael Thomas is a different thing. Antonio Brown was going up the field, and he made great plays. Michael Thomas plays the short game. He only averages 10 to 11 yards per catch. So I think he will be fine. If he's healthy, I believe he could work right back in and start giving instant help to this offense, Steve.
I agree with you. And let's go into more detail. When you look at Michael Thomas, you can see him running right now. He is a guy that intermediate. He is a big body guy. He's like a power forward. You have to get through him to get to the ball from the defender. And because of that, he needs that ankle to hunker down and be that anchor that he can catch the ball just like this and keep the ball away from the defender. If he cannot be that type of player, I believe that's why they put him on IR, to give him complete rest. Because when you're on IR, when you know you have rest, that means you don't get that itch of missing playing time. Oh, if I was out there, I could have made that play. And so it allows you to be full speed when you're ready to go, have the necessary rest, treatment, rest again, treatment. And you know my tagline, you know, a lot of people know me. My man got to ice it up, son. That's what he has to do. Ice, heat, stem. Stem, heat, ice. That's what he has to do. So when he hits the playoffs, he's going to be going on all cylinders. He can jump and catch the ball at the highest point. He can run through defenders. So he needs that ankle, because that ankle is like a tire on a NASCAR. You can't ride around in that circle going all those lefts on the rims, man. It just ain't going to do it. You're going to spark something up, hit gas, bang, go on in the fire. We don't need that.
You're right, Steve. And another thing that people don't think about is like when he's actually in that motion, that arm over motion where he has the DB in front of him. He has to plant that leg to hit that DB and get him off of him. And Michael Thomas is very great. He's great at doing that. So it's going to take planting that leg and getting it going and moving it. But I can tell you what, I was so sick of Ice Stem. You know they sent a trainer home with him. A trainer has been living with him, folks, for the last 3 weeks to get him ready for the playoffs when they come up. I guarantee you he's been treated, and hopefully if he's healthy, I think he'll be fine. They'll get that short passing game that will help the running game. And boy, if they get full strength going into the playoffs, look out.
Here's the other thing, too. We're talking about the absence of what can we expect out of Michael Thomas. APB out on Emmanuel Sanders. Where is he at in this offense? And then also, too, that they have all of these guys from practice squad that they moving up, whether it be from COVID or just availability. They don't have that go-to guy in the absence of Michael Thomas. They need that because they have Alvin Kamara. They have Drew Brees. Right? And they have Taysom Hill. Who's that other factor that we know that a defensive coordinator must keep an eye on? That guy is not there yet, and we need him to show up. And hopefully he'll show up today, hitting into the playoffs. And then you have a Michael Thomas, and all of a sudden you have a whole stable of playmakers, which playmakers make defensive coordinators stay up at night, can't sleep. They start to get weary.
Emmanuel Sanders made a great play. Yeah, right. Emmanuel Sanders made a great play last week, and to be fair to him, you know, when Taysom Hill was in the game, remember, he was throwing everything to Michael Thomas because, he's been there with Michael Thomas for a lot of years. He's like, hey, Michael Thomas helped that guy make a great career, and Drew Brees, he can help me. But Drew Brees, who understands the offense more, and Michael Thomas back, most defenses will try to stop him, then I think they'll find Emmanuel Sanders more. But he's been dealing with those quarterbacks being missing. Emmanuel Sanders has also.
It's been a rotating cast of characters on offense. They've been scrambling to get healthy at the same time. Now as the playoffs are approaching, now is the time they really need to get it done. Their defense, though, as we see Malcolm Jenkins there, has been impressive all season long. Top 5 in total passing and rushing yards allowed. 6th best scoring defense in the league. Steve, they were all over Patrick Mahomes last week. Yes, they lost, I know, but they still had a nice day defensively. After watching that performance, do you trust them any more or less in the playoffs?
What's funny is, Colleen, I said no, but yet this morning I got up pretty early and I watched the game all over again. And one of the things that was really shocking is Kansas City darn near had to be perfect. And they were, but yet the New Orleans Saints still at times struggle. And it wasn't because they're not very good. It's just Patrick Mahomes is just a different guy, right? But then also, too, when you look at this defense, Cam Jordan is probably the smartest defensive end on film that I've seen. He made sure he kept integrity, made sure that he kept the outside locked in. When they did all that mix and matching and all that eye candy and misdirection, Cam Jordan kept his integrity, held the edge, and did not allow all of that switcheroo to affect his responsibilities. The other thing, though, one thing that I am concerned about, and you saw Marshawn Lattimore, since his rookie year, he has not played up to that standard. And what do I mean by that is I have to read this because in 2017, the quarterback rating throwing towards his direction was 45.3. You know what it is in 2020? 119. He had zero touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He made the Pro Bowl. But what I'm saying is he set that standard in 2017. He had 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, but also when targeted, the receiver is catching the ball 62% of the time when it was only 45% back when his rookie year. So I want to see him bring his game up because we know what his ceiling is. He's kind of dwelling right there, kind of mid-drift at the top of the doorway. I need him to get back to where he was his rookie year because he was fantastic, and this defense will feed off his ability to shut down every and any wide receiver lined up out there.
Maybe he's just waiting to hit that next gear for the playoffs. Who knows? With this defense, though, right now they're on a short week. They had to deal with 92 plays on offense from the Chiefs last week, and now they have Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson on deck. Cam Jordan, someone the Saints will have to rely on today, recently named to another Pro Bowl.